what's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to Geek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Who is this?
Big Bucket.
Big Buckus. Walter Payton, it's the man. Finds Cole Kmet wide open. Touchdown Bears. Let's go. Who is this?
Georgia.
Nice throw, Jay Field.
I think I can fit in as like a water boy for the Panthers or something. I'm not talking about get on the field,
It's picked off. Picked off an end zone by Kyler Gordon. Let's go. Put some respect on Kyler Gordon's name. And as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for yet another live stream right here on Geek on the Mic. As you guys can see, I'm not in my normal studio. Once again, I'm visiting the parents' house. I'm just going to do a quick little live stream from their house. But obviously, the news that's coming out of Chicago is that the Chicago Bears will be hosting elite tight end prospect Brock Bowers ahead of the 2024 NFL draft. And obviously, this is very significant as Chicago Bears are wondering what they're going to do with the number 9 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. So the big question on today's live stream is this: what are they going to do with the number 9 overall pick? Could Brock Bowers actually be a possibility for the Chicago Bears with that number 9 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft? I am thinking that it could actually be a possibility. Understanding Shane Waldron's offense, he loves running those 2 to 3 tight end sets. Even though they just signed Gerald Everett in free agency, I think Brock Bowers could still very well be in play for the number 9 overall pick. But before we go into more details about the elite tight end prospect Brock Bowers is on today's episode of Geek on the Mic, I'm going to go ahead and go into chat, interact with you guys for a little bit. Once again, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to tune in and ask me any questions you would like. So we already have Art Soda in the chat. Art Soda says, Keeg, what's going on, Art? Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. We have Donkey Kong in the chat. He says, let's go. Lions rule the North. Caleb's a bust. Dude's a clown. I'm not sure if the Lions rule the North. They won the division one year, but hey, congratulations to you guys' division title. Hopefully you guys can repeat that success this season. We have Ace in the chat says, yes, sir. And someone also said, not talking to you, Donkey, LOL. We have OG Lights Out in the chat. How you doing, OG? He says, yo, Keek, is it true that Caleb Williams wants part ownership of the team? I really think those are false narratives. I don't think he's going to want ownership of the team right away. And let me tell you this, the Chicago Bears wouldn't give him ownership of the team. So if that is true, which I don't think it is true, I don't think he would be a Chicago Bear at the end of the day. We have Victoria in the chat. What's going on, Victoria? Thank you so much for tuning in. It says, yo, what's going on with you? Jackson Frost says, Keek, take us there, young king. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for the kind words. Brian in the chat says, yeah, bear down to you as well. Donkey Kong says, Brock Bowers would be the perfect Bears thing to do. LOL. I think he's a great player, Donkey Kong. I don't think, a pairing between him and Caleb Williams, I think would be actually a really good pick. It's no different than the Lions taking Jahmyr Gibbs when no one expected them to take a running back. They took the best player that they had on their board. And look at Jahmyr Gibbs worked out really nicely for you guys. So I think you mocking the Chicago Bears for possibly taking one of the best tight end prospects we've seen in a long time it's kind of silly to me. It's actually kind of funny. Marky Mark R, how you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in for this quick little live stream episode right here on the podcast. He says, if Joe Alt is there at 9, take that. That's the pick. I totally agree with you. If Joe Alt happens to fall to 9, which that also could happen for the Chicago Bears, I think the Chicago Bears could run to the podium and select Joe Alt with the number 9 overall pick. We have Z-Man 3185. Thank you so much for joining the chat. Says the players' owners bargaining agreement doesn't allow any players to have a piece of any NFL team, so that will never happen. Yep. Thank you so much for that clarification. Let's go ahead and talk about Brock Bowers, because Bears fans, this is actually the best tight end prospect we have seen in a long time. And obviously, just because you're a first round pick doesn't make you a guaranteed superstar, right? But here we go. Brock Bowers, best tight end prospect available in the 2024 NFL draft. He stands at 6'4", 240 pounds. He's only 21 years old. Here is the report that PFF actually gave Brock Bowers. He said, they say, outside of being on the smaller side, Bowers is a dream tight end prospect who can be an impact player in the slot, out wide, or in line. Add in his reliable blocking ability on the line and in space, and you have an ultimate chess piece offensive weapon with all pro potential. This would be, to me, you're basically getting a receiver and a tight end in one, a guy that's willing to block, which that's really hard to find. He is the perfect tight end prospect, right? And once again, knowing what Shane Waldron likes to do with his offense, run those 2 tight end sets, right? And the possibility of actually getting Brock Bowers at 9 may seem silly to some people, but I think it would actually be a pretty good pick, you know? And I feel like people are not talking about Brock Bowers leading up to the 2024 NFL draft. Maybe the Bears trade down a couple of spots and are still able to land a guy like Brock Bowers while recouping some draft capital. But I actually wouldn't be mad at this pick. I think the only time I'd actually be kind of frustrated with picking a guy like Brock Bowers, if, for example, Joe Alt is on the board and you decide to go take Brock Bowers, I think that's the only time that I kind of would question the move. But when you look at his ability to play the many different positions, you know, his versatility on offense, what you're able to do with him, use him as a chess piece, right? His ability and as a blocker as well. Brock Bowers, if put into the right situation, should be a true all-pro in the National Football League and obviously a defensive nightmare for opposing defenses. So let's go ahead and also look at some stats the last couple of years for Brock Bowers. When you look at his PFF grades, in 2021, he had a 92.1. In 2022, he had a 90. And then in 2023, he had an 84.4. So obviously a consistent player as well. In 2021, had 13 touchdowns. 2022 had 7 touchdowns. And then 2023 had 6 touchdowns as well. So just a guy that is a reliable threat. I think if you add him to the fold with already having Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, obviously you would still have Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, maybe even adding a receiver like Brendan Rice, maybe in the 3rd round. I think this would work out for all parties. So I think it's kind of intriguing that the Chicago Bears are bringing him in ahead of the NFL draft. And once again, it's not guaranteed that they're going to take him with the number 9 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft, but I think it is intriguing. And I expected them to have an interview with him because he is the best tight end in the 2024 NFL draft. And this is a guy that I've liked for a long time. I've had Brock Bowers in many of my Chicago Bears mock drafts. Once again, I think the proof is in the pudding. This is a very good player, and I think I would welcome a guy like Brock Bowers with open arms in a Chicago Bears uniform. So I'm going to go ahead, engage with you guys for a little bit in the chat. Once again, the report out of Chicago is that the Chicago Bears will be hosting tight end prospect Brock Bowers ahead of the 2024 NFL draft. So I'll go ahead and answer any questions that you guys may have in the chat. I do appreciate you guys. Victoria says 2-time college football national championship in Georgia. Yes, that's definitely a good point to add. He definitely has that winning DNA. Bob says Joe Alt or Roma Dunze or Brock Bowers could all be available at 9. Who's the pick? If all those guys are available, I'm taking Joe Alt. Whenever you can have a chance to upgrade your offensive line, I think protecting your quarterback is more important than having weapons on the outside, to me personally, because if Caleb Williams has all day to throw, at that point, I think having DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, Keenan Allen will be plenty of weapons for Caleb Williams in year 1. Norman says Bowers at 9 is highly unlikely unless you have the nerve to trade Kmet for a 2nd round pick. Well, here's the thing. I know that may seem confusing because you just signed Gerald Everett, but Gerald Everett is the aging vet. Obviously, if you bring in a guy like Brock Bowers, I think Brock Bowers would then take over, like that tight end 2 duties with the potential to be your tight end 1. But I feel like when you're looking at a guy like Cole Kmet and you're looking at a guy like Brock Bowers, they're really like 2 different types of tight end, right? I think when you look at Cole Kmet, he's a very good tight end, but I feel like Brock Bowers is a complete tight end. Philip says, hey, Keith, good afternoon. Bear down to you as well. Philip, thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you. Victoria says, agreed, Alt over Bowers, but Alt would likely be gone by 9. And that's the thing. If Joe Alt is there at 9, you got to take Joe Alt. You have to. I think it's an obligation to improve our offensive line. And quite frankly, I think we all can agree that, Braxton Jones has been good for a 5th round pick. He has turned into a very solid starter in the National Football League. But I think Joe Alt would be a step above a guy like Braxton Jones for sure. Norman says Bears do not need 3 tight ends. If Atlanta takes Dallas Turner, then you trade down and maybe take Bowers. Yeah, and that's definitely a possibility for them to do. I'm just saying, I think Ryan Poles may go into the business of taking the best player available. And if Brock Bowers is the best player available, I think you possibly take a swing on a guy like that. For anyone that's already in the chat, thank you guys so much. We're talking about the Chicago Bears hosting tight end prospect Brock Bowers ahead of the 2024 NFL draft, and basically just getting kind of like a gauge of how you guys would feel if the Bears maybe considered taking Brock Bowers with the number 9 overall pick, or maybe trading down. Taking a guy like Brock Bowers. But if you're in the chat, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you hit the like button as well. That would do the channel a whole bunch of favors. Once again, I do appreciate you guys so much for all the support you've been showing Keek on the mic. We have OG Lights Out says, Keek, who do you see? Who do you think we'll pick at 9? Personally, I think we're going to take an edge rusher. I can also see us trading down. But I think when it comes to push and shove, I think we'll end up taking a pass rusher to pair with Montez Sweat. But I wouldn't be surprised if Roma Dunze falls, if they take Roma Dunze out of Washington as well. Philip says, Don Burr is a closet Bears fan. He loves being on Bears podcast. I didn't really, Don Burr is in here. I was reading other questions, but I didn't even get to see Don Burr. I hope Don Burr is doing well. Definitely have no animosity against the guy. I think he's just a true diehard Lions fan. Sorry, I forgot the team that he supports. But I do appreciate him coming into the chat and engaging with me. That's pretty cool. Sonky Kong says, Keek, how bad will the Bears suck? I don't know. I guess you should be questioning your team, because we were 4 minutes away from sweeping the Detroit Lions last year. So if you're going to say the Bears are going to suck, I don't know what I don't know what you're saying about your team then. David Rogers Sr. says Joe Alt will make sense for the offensive line. Yeah, he would. He definitely would. You look at a guy like Joe Alt, and he is a beast. I actually kind of want to look up, some Joe Alt numbers as well, because Joe Alt, just the first look at him, he's 6'8", 322 pounds, dude. Like 6'8", 322. That's absolutely insane. I would love to have Joe Alt on his offensive line for sure. And you can't go wrong with taking offensive linemen from Notre Dame as well. They just produce really good offensive linemen. We have Dave in the chat says, happy Sunday, bro. Bear down to you as well, bro. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you guys. No, Don Burr, I saw you. He's trying to act like he doesn't see my comments, but then we'll say I haven't been around. Yeah, you haven't been around. This is the first time I've seen you since it's been like over a year and a half since I've seen you in my chat. So I'm glad that you're back. I'm not really personally trying to ignore you. I think we had a pretty good year against the Detroit Lions last year. So I definitely think moving forward, I think the Bears there's going to be a lot of butt whoopings coming to the Lions way, right? I think out of all the teams in NFC North, I definitely feel like we have the Detroit Lions number more than any other team in the division. So I think out of all the teams in the division, I'm the least afraid of the Detroit Lions. I don't know why. I just think I think the Bears play well. I think they play well against the Lions for sure. Okay. Someone said, be nice to Don Burr. He's all good. He's just a true Detroit Lions fan. I actually like him more than a lot of Bears fans that we have in our community, right? So, like I said, he's just a diehard Lions fan that likes to be in Bears channels. It's totally cool. Let me go ahead and go through the comments. I appreciate you. But you guys continue to engage with me. Someone says, why was last year's live stream taken down? I'm not sure what live stream you're referring to, which one was taken down. We have someone in the chat saying, good afternoon, my brother. If the Bears were to trade down from number 1, let's say to the 2nd spot, and draft the kid out of North Carolina, what would you think about that? I think I would be fine with that, taking Drake May. I think as long as you're continuing to build around him, I think, I've said many times on the podcast that I feel like any quarterback should be successful on this football team because of how Ryan Poles built the team. You're still going to have a whole bunch of weapons in Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, right? So I think I'd be okay with that, especially if we get an absolute haul for the number 1 overall pick, right? So I would be okay with that. I think he's an outstanding prospect as well. I'm not sure if he's ready to start right away, but unfortunately, whatever quarterback you bring in, meaning a rookie, they're going to have to, I guess, learn on the fly, which I'm not a big fan of that, but we would have to be. Once again, going through you guys' questions. So Laz says, hey, Keek, is your Pops around? Want to get his reaction on the big trade to Pittsburgh. Yeah, I think he is around, but I'm not sure. I think he's too busy interacting with my daughter right now. So his initial reaction was same as mine. Like, hey, it's a business. We both appreciate Justin Fields' time, but we're both excited for what's to come for the Chicago Bears. But for me, it's just like, for him personally, he's been a Bears fan for a long time. So he's just ready for all this to be over, and hopefully this next quarterback actually gets it done, and hopefully the Chicago Bears can figure it out as an organization as well. Philip says, Keek, do you see someone falling out of the top 10 draft picks? Oh, man, I definitely see a guy like Brock Bowers falling out. I think Dallas Turner and Jared Verse could possibly both be there outside the top 10 as well. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of talent at 9 when the Bears pick. So that's why I think the Bears will possibly trade out of number 9, and then collect some draft capital, and then probably still get a solid top 10 player in the 2024 NFL draft. So that makes a lot of sense. OG Lights Out says, let's go Bears. Yes, bear down to you as well. Thank you so much. MC Fax says, I am not good with May. Why not take Caleb Williams? I don't know. That's why Ryan Poles gets paid the big bucks. If he wants to trade down and take Drake May, hey, I guess we're going to have to trust him. But I think until that is known or said, or actually the move that he makes, I think Caleb Williams is the pick for the Bears. Someone said Caleb Williams is option 1, Drake May is option 2. I definitely can agree with that. We have someone in the chat says, bear down to you as well. Thank you so much for joining the chat. I do appreciate you guys. Once again, you guys just now tuning in. We're kind of talking about the Chicago Bears option at number 9 overall in the 2024 NFL draft. We're also talking about the Chicago Bears hosting elite tight end prospect Brock Bowers ahead of the 2024 NFL draft. Let me know how you would feel about the possibility of the Bears maybe taking Brock Bowers in the 2024 NFL draft with that second first-round pick. I would love to hear from you guys. John says, which trade to Pitt was better? Poles trading 32nd pick in draft for Claypool, or trading Justin for a 4th round pick? Yeah, I think that's the one team that, has Ryan Poles' number in terms of trades. But at the same time, that's the team that Justin Fields wanted to go to. I think Ryan Poles was just doing right by Justin Fields. And, I commend him for that. He's I don't know what else to say on that. He wanted to make sure Justin Fields was going into the best situation possible. And he took less compensation to send him to Pittsburgh, just to make Justin Fields happy. So I like that. Norman says, who do you think will trade with the Bears for the number 9 overall pick? That is a really good question. You have teams like the Broncos. The Broncos only have a 3rd round pick to offer, so they don't have a 2nd round pick. You have teams maybe like the Las Vegas Raiders. They have pick number 44 in the 2nd round. I can see maybe trading up. Maybe a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe moving down to 17. That may be a little bit far, but that definitely puts you in range of getting like an edge rusher like Leatu Latu. Maybe if you want to go and get a center in Jackson Powers Johnson, that can be an option as well. But there's only a couple of teams I can really see. But I for some reason, I think if there's a certain quarterback there, like if JJ McCarthy does happen to fall to 9, I can see the Broncos, maybe the Raiders, or a couple other teams maybe making a trade up within the top 10 for sure. Nice says, my brother, I love Justin Fields, but I think we could have gotten more. I just wish we were a little more loyal to the Bears than Justin Fields in this instance. Like I said, I'm a Bears fan first. There's a lot of people that were attached to Justin Fields, and I was definitely one of those guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But I think it's the fact that, a lot of people feel like they did Justin Fields wrong. And it's almost like Justin Fields like the sacrifice, right? Like he's the one that had to deal with the rebuild. And then obviously Caleb Williams, or this next quarterback, is going to get all the benefits, of the rebuild being finished, all this talent around him, better offensive line, better defense, right? So I think that's the one big thing on Justin Fields. But hey, it's a business. We move on, and hopefully this next quarterback can get things done with a whole bunch of talent on this roster. There's really no excuse. Someone says, Keek, you and Swift are the man, my go-to for all Chicago Bears content on YouTube. I definitely appreciate you so much for all the kind words. I absolutely love Swift's content as well. You know, I love all Chicago Bears content creators. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're all doing the same grind. We're all very passionate about the Chicago Bears. We all want to just see the Chicago Bears succeed, no matter who the quarterback is, right? So definitely agree. Thank you so much for the kind words, though. King Booker World, how you doing, my man? Says, yo, what's going on with you? Thank you so much for tuning in for the Sunday live stream. We have Victoria saying JPJ. Yeah, Jackson Powers Johnson would be an outstanding pick. We were able to get him. Norman says, fun fact, the song Bear Down Chicago Bears is older Joe Biden, but not Virginia McCaskey. Legendary song was written in 1941 and is 83 years old. That is absolutely insane. You know, I absolutely love the Bear Down Chicago Bears. Love the fight song for sure. I think it's one of the best in the National Football League. We have OG Lights Out saying die hard Bears fan. Yes, die hard Bears fans for sure. Tom Burr says, Keek, you and Swift cover the worst team in football, Chicago Teddy Bears. Hey, you guys are fans of the toilet Lions, right? Hey, you guys won your little NFC North, choked out the NFC title game. And you know what? I was actually rooting for you guys because I don't like the San Francisco 49ers because I'm from California, right? So I was rooting for you guys. You had your big old lead and you guys just choked it down the drain, man. And I was like, it was unfortunate, but it is what it is. Unfortunate for sure. We do have a super chat. We have Jerron Worthy. Thank you so much for the super chat. I definitely appreciate you. He asked, do you think the Bears can trade number 9 in next year's first and Panthers second for Vikings 11 and 23? That would be a huge trade for the Chicago Bears. So I think it's likely. No, I don't think it's likely. But it would definitely be valuable because then you would have what? Picks. You would have picks 1, 11, and 23. And then you're getting like, you would get Caleb. You get number 11, you get an edge rusher, and at number 23, you could probably get Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon. So that would be a massive trade for the Chicago Bears. But I do not think that it's likely that the Bears do something like that. I think, but at the same time, you never know what Ryan Poles is thinking. And I think also, I don't think he wants to help the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings would want to help the Chicago Bears unless there's a player that they desperately want at number 9. But thank you so much for the super chat and thank you so much for the question. I think that would be a bold trade for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. Someone says Bears definitely should take Bowers if he even falls that far. Yeah, that's the big thing. If the Bears are going to have at number 9, you're talking about having possibly Joe Wall, Brock Bowers, receivers, the 2 best edge rushers in the draft. The Chicago Bears are going to have a whole lot of options to choose from. And I don't envy Ryan Poles' position at the number 9 overall pick. Norman says, Keek, why can't the Bears let DeAndre Swift have the jersey number 0? Don't you think that would sell more than number 4? Yeah, I think so. You know, the Bears are just so old school, man. I don't know why it's a big deal for players to have certain numbers. I think it's absolutely silly. I think he would look better in number 0, but hey, I guess number 4 works too. It's not like I'm going to be buying a DeAndre Swift jersey, but I think he would look cooler in number 0 for sure. OG Lights Out says Detroit Lioness ain't that special. Where's Barry Sanders at? Oh, yeah, retired early. Dave said Bowers at 9 is too early. Bowers is at 12. Yeah, 12 to 15 would be a good pick. If you could trade down and still get a guy like Brock Bowers, I think that would be a home run pick. I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened to Brock Bowers. You know, prior to the NFL draft or the combine, people were talking to him about him like he was a top 10 pick. I was talking about him like he was a top 10 pick. I still think he is a guy that can maybe be worthy of a top 10 pick. I really do like a guy like Brock Bowers for sure. John says trade up from 9 to draft Harrison Jr. I really wish. But you know, we all know that's a pipe dream. I think getting Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. would be a steal. Like the Chicago Bears, even if they only had 2 extra picks, right? 2 more picks to go or a pick to go in the 2024 NFL draft, the Chicago Bears would win the draft for sure. Someone said the real question is who will wear number 13. I think it should go to Keenan Allen, right? You would think. But if we draft Caleb Williams, I'm not sure if he's going to be fighting for number 13, if he's going to want number 12, for, because I know he really loves Aaron Rodgers. Who knows what's going to happen? I gotta address this comment. Donkey Kong, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, we don't need to do all that. Like, we can joke around about, like, retirement and all that stuff, but come on now. You really have to talk about Walter Payton in that manner. Like, there's a difference being to being like a troll, but then that's just disrespectful. Like, no one's sitting here disrespecting Barry Sanders. This guy only said, oh yeah, he retired early. No one you don't have to talk about the dude dying. Like that's just disrespectful. Norman says, if you have the audacity to take Bowers at 9, then who do you sign at edge in the free agent market? And that's the thing, that the free agent market for edge rushers is like really light right now. You only have guys like Jadeveon Clowney, for example, right? But like all the big names are basically gone at this point. So I think that's why I feel like the Bears, they have a plan, right? I think they like Dallas Turner. I think they like Jared Verse, right? And those are guys that you can trade down and still get them, right? And either way, Dallas Turner and Jared Verse, they're two different type of edge rushers, but they would both be really good alongside Montez Sweat. MZ Fact has a question for Don Burr. Why do you care about the Bears? That's a question I've had all the time. But like I said, I have respect for Don Burr. So. Dang, Don Burr, you're going to take personal shots? He said, Donkey, don't do that. Talk about Keek on the Mike's hairline retiring early. It's all good. I have my hairline, it's just genetics at this point. There's nothing I can do about it. But, hey, you're going to come at me and not talk about football? That's messed up, Don Burr. After all the compliments that I gave you on this show, you're going to come after me and my hairline? That is absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane. All right, so let's go ahead and go through the comments. Someone said trade number 9 pick for San Francisco for Nick Bosa. Oh, that would be a huge trade. I don't think the 49ers would do that because they just paid Nick Bosa. It wouldn't make no sense. Someone said grass doesn't grow on a busy street, Keek. Thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate you. Someone said Walter Payton was flat out the best running back in the history of the NFL. I definitely have to agree with you. Someone said, Keek, who do you think has the better upside between this year's edge rushers? Personally, I think it's Dallas Turner. I really do. Dallas Turner gives you like a complete edge rusher compared to like a guy like Jared Verse that is more like a power rusher. I really like Laiatu Latu out of UCLA as well. I think that's definitely a guy that if the Bears trade down, that could be in their sights as well. But I think Dallas Turner, for me, if you're going to stay at 9 and not trade down and you want to get an edge rusher, you take a guy like Dallas Turner for sure. Domber says, love you, Keek. You're my guy. Come on, Domber. You'd have to come at me like that. That's why I always wear hats, because I know my hairline's retired. I get it. But then you got to come at my hairline. You're not even talking about football at this point. That's crazy. Yeah, that's why I'm saying you're gonna get bad luck now. He's coming for you now. You can't talk about someone dying on Sunday. That's crazy. Norman says Turner gets the edge over Verse just for being 21. Yeah, absolutely. And once again, I think when you look at a guy like Jared Verse, he primarily wins as a power rusher. When you're looking at a guy like Dallas Turner, he can beat you in many different ways. I do like Jared Verse as well. I think they'd both be great alongside Montez Sweat, but I think I give Dallas Turner the edge. Jackson Frost says, this time we're going to be in the playoffs. We're set up for success. All of the pieces are in place and yet more to come. Yeah, it's an exciting time to be a Bears fan. I definitely agree. So now it's time for all the Bears fans to come together and just see what happens. Someone says, given that the Bears' arguably biggest issue on offense was consistency on the line, both in terms of health and performance, are you remotely satisfied that we've done enough on the line and free agency to not at 9? And that's the thing. I think that's why I keep saying, if Joe Alt is there, take Joe Alt. Take Joe Alt. I don't think it's a no-brainer, right? You take Joe Alt and make your offensive line better. Norman says Turner had the better combine numbers, better RAS score, and longer arms. That's the thing. Ryan Poles is very big on that RAS score, right? And just having the simple just genetics, the long arms, right? And once again, Dallas Turner can beat you in many different ways. The dude is an absolute menace. David Rogers Sr. says, is 10-7 asking too much? No, I think that's a very realistic record for the Chicago Bears, if you ask me. We went 7-10 last year. Obviously, we blew a couple of games. So you're saying, a lot of people are saying we're going to upgrade at the quarterback. We have a better defense. We have upgraded weapons, right? Upgraded offensive line. The Bears should be able to win 9 to 10 games next year. Yeah, Donkey Kong. That's why I think the Lions are going to go 7-10. So you're basically saying the 7-10 is asking too much, man. Yeah, I think 7-10 for the Lions seems accurate. You know, I think 7-10 is very accurate for the Detroit Lions, actually. Someone asked, who do you like for our 3rd round pick? Personally, I like Brendan Rice. If Brendan Rice is there, wide receiver out of USC, and especially we take Caleb Williams, I think that would be the perfect pick, personally. I think he has a very high ceiling in the National Football League. I really, really do. But we'll just have to wait and see. I think that would be for me, though. Someone says safety from Utah. I like that. Once again, trying to go through all the questions. Thank you guys so much for engagement with me on this Sunday live stream. I'll probably stay on for a couple more minutes, not too much longer, but I do appreciate you guys being here today. Someone said Atlanta will take Turner. No chance he's there at 9. Wait to next year. And that's definitely a possibility that, Atlanta is set up well. I think Atlanta is set up to, try to make some noise in the NFC this year as well. So they probably will take the best player available. And I think at 8, it will be Dallas Turner. So you're absolutely right on that. Someone said, I would hate to see them draft another rookie and not protect him. If it's me, protect the QB, finish the defense next year. Yeah, like I said, I've been hearing a lot of great things about the edge rushers next year in 2025. So like I said, we don't know what Ryan Poles is going to do. We really don't. But we'll wait and see. He's going to have a lot of talent on the board. I think whoever he picks, I trust him. Sophisticated Thought says Brendan Rice in the 3rd round, regardless if you get Caleb or not. I literally was thinking about him when you mentioned the 3rd round. Yeah, I think if he's there in the 3rd round, I think it would be a no-brainer. Shane Link says, should we trade any 2025 picks to move up or add picks this year? You could. If there's a player that you really like and you want to move up and get them, use your picks in 2025. But I doubt that they're going to do that. I think they're going to try their best to get some more picks this year by trading down from like number 9, for example. So we'll have to wait and see. Sophisticated Thoughts, if they trade that pick, they can get 2 sons of former Hall of Famers, Brandon Rice and Marvin Harrison Jr. Wouldn't that be something, right? That would be crazy. Donkey Kong thinks Lions Super Bowl are a bust for sure. Wow. Yeah, like I said, last year was a really rare occurrence. I was actually going for the Lions because I live in California. I can't stand the San Francisco 49ers because that's what I'm around, So I was rooting for them, but then when, they choked it up in the NFC Championship game, I'm like, wow, okay, well, there goes that dream season, right? So hopefully for your guys' sake, maybe you guys do go to the Super Bowl, but it's going to be tough. Obviously the Packers are getting better. I believe that the Bears are getting better. You still have the 49ers, you still have the Cowboys, you still have the Eagles, right? I think the NFC is wide open. So like the path to get to the Super Bowl in the NFC is different than trying to get there in the AFC, but maybe you guys will get there. Norman says, why do fans of other teams that trash Justin Fields and the Bears overlook that the Bears were intentionally tanking games for 2 whole seasons during the Justin Fields era? Yeah, I don't know. They just like to talk mess. Shane Link says, who's your non-playoff team besides the Bears to make some noise this year? I'm really high on the Atlanta Falcons. I think just adding a guy like Kirk Cousins, they got Darnell Mooney, Rondell Moore. They got him as well. I think they're going to improve their defense as well. I think the Atlanta Falcons could be a team, and especially with the division they play in, I think the Atlanta Falcons can make some noise as well. So Donkey Kong says the Vikings and Bears are in the exact same spot. Green Bay is a step ahead of both y'all. I guess I beg to differ. I think our team has always been, I think roster wise, have been up to par with like a team like the Green Bay Packers. I think it's just always been, I guess, the quarterback play, right? And then obviously the coaching. I think we've gotten better coaches. I think ever since Matt Eberflus has taken over defensive play calling, our defense has been a lot better. So we're going to have hopefully a top 10 defense going into this season. Obviously, you got better on the outside by adding Gerald Everett. You've got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. If Caleb Williams is what they say he is, and maybe even in year 1, I think the Bears should be okay. I really do. Obviously, you don't have to agree with me because you're a Lions fan. You don't like the Bears. But I think saying that Green Bay is a step ahead of both of us, I think it's an unfair assessment. I think the Vikings are about to start their rebuild, right? I don't think they're built. They have a lot of old, aging players. The Bears are opposite. They have a lot of young players are developing right now. So I appreciate your comment. I really do. But I think you need to know more about the situation of the Bears. And I don't expect you to because you're a Lions fan, but that's just how I feel. Norman says, Keek, do you think the Bears have the worst mascot in the league? We need a more realistic looking bear. I don't know. I like Staley the bear. I don't think there's anything wrong with the mascot. I have nothing wrong with Staley. Maybe if you want a more realistic looking bear, hey, let's write a letter and let them know. Jackson Frost says, hey, do you think the Bears, our Bears will finally beat the Green Bay Packers? I'll believe it when I see it. Every year I think like, okay, this is the year that we're going to actually beat the Packers, but then it never happens. And I think they do have better coaches than us, but I think in terms of like players, I don't think it's ever been like the Green Bay Packers roster has been extremely better than the Bears. It's just, we just never get it done, right? I think it comes down to quarterback play. Hopefully Caleb Williams or the next quarterback can be that guy. And I think hopefully we can push to beat the Packers this year. Donkey Kong, because I think the Bears are going to be okay. 7-10 is realistic. Yeah, it just depends on who, if Caleb Williams he's a rookie, right? So 7-10 could be realistic, but at the same time, even if Caleb Williams is decent, I think the Bears can push for 9 wins. I really do. Our schedule is not too hard by the initial look. Obviously, the teams that were bad last year doesn't mean they're going to be bad this year. But by initial look, I see a lot of winnable games for the Bears. Donkey Kong also says FGB. Yes, at least we have something in common. FGB to you as well. Appreciate that. Johnny J says, Frost, $1 million question. I'm saying probably not. I think we needed to trade back to catch up. Okay. Guess you're answering Jackson Frost's question. Shane Link also says FGB. Yes, FGB to you as well. Thank you so much for putting that in the chat. John says Packers know the best time to draft the QB is when you don't need one and sit him behind starter to learn system. Love is Rodgers 2.0. Yeah, and those are the words that I didn't want to hear, right? But obviously they did it the right way, and the Packers always do it the right way. Now it's about seeing if Jordan Love can have another good season. Can he build on what he did last year, right? So that's going to be the big question for them. We have Muck the General in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me. He says FGB for life. Yes, definitely agree with you. David Rogers Sr. says if the Bears go 7-10 again, it's a bad season. I definitely agree with that. That's definitely a good assessment there. John says every fantastic QB comes with a fantastic head coach. Ask Stafford about head coaching and mattering. Yes. Yeah, I think the Bears have to be better than 7-10. We went 7-10 last year and we blew 3 games. So I think we have a better team, even with a rookie quarterback. So the Bears should be better than 7-10 next year, for sure. All right, Bears fans, once again, I do appreciate you guys tuning in for this quick little Sunday live stream. I hope you guys have a really good week. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave the live stream today. Once again, we were talking about Chicago Bears hosting elite tight end Brock Bowers ahead of the NFL draft. Maybe it's a possibility, maybe it's not. Once again, I do thank you guys so much for engaging with me, and I hope to see you guys sometime this week. I am planning to do more live streams this week, so make sure you once again hit the like button, hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content. But other than that, I appreciate you guys so much, and as always, bear down to every single one of you guys. Peace, guys.